I've kept the cartonnage in the humidification tent for about 4 weeks, and during the time I was gradually able to reshape the base. I was using little cushions which I added from underneath to move the cartonnage up in certain areas. In other areas I've added some weight on top to weigh it down. I was basically able to even out the structure, but pretty soon I realized I'm not progressing as much as I was hoping to. So that was the moment when I decided, well, actually, let's see whether we can turn over the cartonnage in order to see what is actually happening underneath. Because I already realized where we had an area of loss, I could see some red fabric. So I realized, okay, that there has been some sort of intervention. And of course, I was keen to find out what actually is going on. So in order to flip the cartonnage, which is obviously quite a flexible structure, I've sandwiched in the base between two rigid boards. The plan was to strap those two boards together and then, with the help of many colleagues, turn it round. And of course, one concern was that I will crush the cartonnage. So that's the reason why I've used those foam blocks and I placed them all the way around the cartonnage in order to, they're basically serve as spacers, but at the same time they also helped to secure the cartonnage in position, because obviously the moment we start to tilt the sandwich, it might move. So then, adding additional padding to make sure everything is nicely held in place, we were able to flip it over. And of course, then the exciting moment arrived when we, for the first time, we could actually see what's going on inside the cartonnage. Having turned over, it became clear that there's actually not only the red fabric, but an additional beige fabric on top of the red. And underneath, or in between those two layers of fabric, I found 3 rigid or semi-rigid boards. That obviously was quite a revelation, because that basically explained why I hit a bit of a roadblock during my reshaping efforts. In conversation with the curator, we agreed to remove these later additions, as both linings and the cardboard pieces, because A, it prevents me from fully reshaping the cartonnage, as getting it completely flat. It also obviously completely obscured the original surface, so would obviously really hinder any further study of that particular part of the object. And in addition, quite an extensive insect infestation had occurred, resulting in quite extensive damage. And obviously I'm quite keen to really see the extent of that damage, and that was another reason why we agreed to really remove all these layers. Unfortunately, when we were able to look at the interior surface, the fabric was completely covered with some accretions ranging from white to beige in terms of color, and I also could spot a few areas where there was definitely some mold, and that was the point where I decided, okay, to immediately transfer it back into its tent in order to avoid any contamination of the lab.